Right now, your life is under siege. Every pillar of your reality, your career, your relationships, your internal peace, is being systematically dismantled. To the outside world, it looks like a sequence of catastrophic failures. To you, it feels like drowning. But to Carl Jung, this isn't bad luck. It is an execution. The person you think you are, the ego you've spent decades perfecting, has become a prison, and your unconscious mind has finally decided to burn it down. This is the final test, a brutal psychological threshold that almost everyone mistakes for a mental breakdown. Jung argued that this total collapse is the only way to trigger individuation. If you feel like the walls are closing in, it's not because the world is against you. It's because your true self is trying to kill the version of you that no longer fits. If you don't understand the hidden mechanics of this siege, you will break. But if you recognize the specific signs that your ego is in its final death throes, you will realize that this isn't the end of your life. It is the beginning of your evolution. The question is, are you prepared to witness the death of your current self to save the person you were meant to become? To understand why this is happening, we first have to look at what you've built. For years, you've been constructing a version of yourself designed to survive. You learned which emotions to hide to stay safe, which ambitions to project to be respected, and which parts of your personality to bury to be loved. Jung called this the persona, the mask we wear to negotiate with society. And for a long time, it worked. It got you the job, the partner, the social standing. But there is a hidden law in Jungian's psychology. Anything that does not grow eventually becomes a tomb. The crisis you're feeling, the sudden irritability, the insomnia, the sense that your achievements are hollow, is what Jungians call psychological entropy. Your ego has reached the limit of its operating system. It's like trying to run modern software on a computer built 30 years ago. The hardware is beginning to overheat. Think about your life right now. Maybe your long-term relationship is suddenly fraught with inexplicable tension. Maybe the career you fought so hard for now feels like a prison sentence. You think these are external problems you need to fix. You tell yourself, if I just work harder, if I just communicate, if I just change my environment, the pressure will stop. But here is the chilling reality. The pressure isn't coming from the outside. The siege is an inside job. Your unconscious mind, the vast, untapped reservoir of everything you've suppressed, is no longer content with being locked in the basement. It's banging on the floorboards. It is sabotaging your plans, ruining your good luck, and creating conflict where there should be peace. It's doing this because it's trying to force you into a corner. It wants to strip away everything that isn't real about you until only the core remains. The final test isn't a test of your strength or your ability to endure more pain. It's a test of your ability to surrender. However, here is where almost everyone gets it wrong. We are taught that a strong ego is the key to success. We are told that resilience means holding on tighter to who we are. But in the eyes of Carl Jung, the stronger your ego is, the more dangerous this moment becomes. In fact, your strength is currently your greatest liability. The very thing you are using to fight the siege is the reason the siege is happening in the first place. You aren't being attacked by a monster. You are being hunted by your own potential. The ego is a survival mechanism that doesn't know the war is over. It's a code that refuses to be rewritten. Even when the software is crashing the entire system, when you feel under siege, your ego does what any cornered animal does. It lashes out. It looks for a villain. It points at your boss, your spouse, or the economy and says, "They are the reason I am suffering." Jung called this projection. You are literally taking the internal chaos of your dissolving identity and pinning it on the world around you. This is the first payoff of the crisis. It gives you a target. But here is the trap. By blaming the outside world, you surrender your power to the very things you claim to hate. You become a victim of your own shadow. This leads us to the most dangerous phase of the siege. The shadow invasion. The shadow is everything you've rejected about yourself. It's your repressed anger, your buried creativity, and the ugly truths you weren't allowed to have. During the final test, the wall between your conscious mind and this shadow begins to crumble. This is why you're suddenly having intrusive thoughts. This is why your temper is on a hair trigger. You think you're losing your character, but the reality is more terrifying. You are finally meeting the rest of yourself. You've spent your life being good, but the siege is demanding that you become whole. But how do you handle a part of yourself that you've spent decades trying to kill? Most people try to suppress it even harder. They double down on their old habits. They buy things they don't need. They distract themselves with screens, or they lean into toxic positivity. They try to manifest their way out of a structural collapse. It won't work. In fact, the harder you grip the steering wheel of a life that has already gone off the cliff, the more bones you break on impact. Jung observed that the ego will eventually reach a point of enantiodromia, the moment when a force turns into its opposite. Your desire for control has created total chaos. Your search for security has made you feel fundamentally unsafe. This is the nadir, the absolute bottom. It's the moment in the siege where the food runs out and the gates are breached. This is where the true terror sets in. You realize that the you who started this journey, the one who wanted to be successful, liked, and stable, is not the one who is going to finish it. That version of you has to stay behind. You are currently standing in the void, a psychological no man's land where the old life is dead and the new life hasn't been born yet. Most people quit here. They crawl back to the ruins of their old life and spend the rest of their years living in the basement of what they could have been. They choose a comfortable prison over a terrifying freedom. But if you stay in the void, if you refuse to run back to the safety of your old, suffocating mask, something miraculous begins to happen. The pressure doesn't stop, but the way you experience it changes. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to build?" This shift in perspective is the key to surviving the siege. But there is one final hurdle. To pass the test, you must face the one thing the ego fears more than death itself. The realization that you were never the one in control in the first place. To pass the final test, you must undergo the ultimate psychological alchemy, the transition from the ego to the self. For years, you lived on the outskirts of your own soul, identified only with the mask you wore. But as the siege reaches its climax, the center of gravity shifts. Jung argued that this is the moment the self, the true central archetype of your entire psyche, finally takes the throne. The execution you felt at the beginning of this journey was never an act of cruelty. It was an act of profound liberation. The fire that dismantled your career, your relationships, or your sense of identity was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to destroy the you that was standing in your way. When the ego finally stops fighting, when it accepts that it is not the master of the house, but merely the gatekeeper, the siege ends instantly. The external chaos may not vanish overnight, but the person experiencing it is fundamentally transformed. You no longer view your shadow as a monster to be feared, but as a source of untapped power. You no longer see your breakdown as a failure, but as the structural collapse of a prison you didn't know you were in. This is the state of individuation. You are no longer a fragmented collection of social expectations and repressed traumas. You are a singular, cohesive force. You have reclaimed the parts of yourself you were told were too much or not enough, and you have forged them into a life that is authentically yours. The sensation of drowning you once felt was simply the feeling of your old identity losing its grip. Now, you aren't fighting the water. You have become the ocean. You realize that the siege was actually a rescue mission conducted by your own unconscious mind. You were never under attack. You were being recalled to your own greatness. The walls didn't close in to crush you. They collapsed because you grew too large to be contained by them. You have survived the death of your ego, only to find that your true life was waiting for you on the other side of the fire. You are no longer a victim of fate. You are the architect of your own evolution. The test is over. Your life hasn't ended. It has finally, for the first time, truly begun. But this awakening, this first breath of your true life, is not a destination. It is the beginning of a lifelong cartography of the soul. The fire has cleared the ground, but the architecture of the self is a structure you must now build, stone by stone, through the deliberate study of your own depths. Most will watch this and eventually drift back into the anesthesia of their old masks. But you have already seen the exit. To ensure you do not lose sight of the horizon you've just discovered, you must remain tethered to the truths we dismantle and rebuild here. By integrating into this space, you are choosing to continue the essential dialogue between your conscious mind and the vast, untapped intelligence of your unconscious. We are here to map the darkest corners of the human experience and recover the power you were told to bury. If you are ready to stop surviving and start becoming, mark this moment as your departure point. Your evolution is no longer an accident of fate. It is a choice. Continue the work with us. If this message awakened something within you, please hit the like button and subscribe so we can continue navigating these depths together. Finally, leave a comment below with the phrase, "I choose my own evolution," to officially cement your commitment to this journey of transformation today.